Hello, everyone, and welcome to Command Center, your video game book club podcast. My name is Daniel, and with me is...
the man who will let your dog out when he says he will, Nathaniel Lamb.
And...
a man's head.
welcome.
That didn't let my dog out when he said he would. And she shit everywhere.
It's okay, I cleaned it up.
Yeah, with his mouth.
Oh.
Daniel's mustache is filled with dog poop because of you, Jason.
I picked it up with my anus.
I already said your mouth.
Oh.
Ba-dunch.
I need new friends and new co-hosts. If you guys want to send in resumes, we're at commandcenterpodcast@gmail.com. You'll have to move to Tampa, Florida, and probably live near me or with me. Just keep that in mind.
He's a deep snuggler. It's a good thing.
You guys play any video games lately?
No, let's go back to talking about the snuggles.
No, please, no. So we played System Shock 2 this month. Hopefully you did too. This game was released in 1999. It was designed by a guy named Ken Levine and was co-developed by Irrational Games and Looking Glass Studios. It was published by, and Nate, you broke your rule, EA, which I didn't realize.
Fuck!
Yeah, you gave him money, dude.
Oh, God damn it. I should have torrented it. Oh.
No, we would never,
I would if it's EA. Fuck
ever do anything like that. Wink,
I'm
wink.
about to buy Battlefront 2, so I'm about to break down and buy Battlefront 2.
Jesus.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to flagellate myself.
Whoa, whoa.
It's when you whip yourself for committing evil acts.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, it was originally developed as a standalone game, but they adapted it into a sequel of System Shock, which was out in 1994. So they just changed the story, but used the same kind of general idea and just took over the development. It came out to overwhelmingly positive reviews, including 7 Game of the Year awards. And Irrational Games, one of the co-developers in 2007, was the people who did BioShock. And I think that you can definitely see the influence that System Shock had on BioShock, which I thought was kind of just like the people who made BioShock really liked System Shock. I just found out just now that it was the same developer, which now I feel stupid.
You know what? I kept on saying that the entire month, and you kept on telling me that it was just a spiritual successor. I could have sworn that it was.
I don't recall you telling me that it was the same people.
I could have sworn I kept on asking about that.
It
But
wasn't the same. Was it the same exact people, like same studio? Because
Yeah.
but the System Shock IP is still in legal limbo.
It might be, but I was just reading it. So Irrational Games between 2007 and 2009 became 2K Boston, I think 2K Canada, and they did BioShock under that name, and then restructured back into Irrational Games, and then I think they now are a different name. They're focusing on narrative games.
What do you bet EA owns the IP and just is sitting on it like they do with everything?
Well, I don't know. I know there's a different developer working on the actual remaster of BioShock 1.
Yeah, there was a whole section on the Wikipedia that had something to do with legal problems with EA, which I neglected to read. So, you know.
I'll start reading it right now because I hate them so much.
Listen, man, I can't do everything.
What do you do?
I drink some beer. I work.
This is lame.
Sometimes. I snuggle with my dog. A deep snuggle. Deep snuggle.
There's a short-haired American pit
You
that
said
needs to be
this is
rescued.
lame. I heard Mrs. Lamb, and I was like, "Damn,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
getting yourself now."
I snuggle her real deep, too. Hi, Mrs. Lamb.
This is Nate.
Damn it.
Mrs. Lamb.
Hi, Nate's mom.
She doesn't listen.
Call me.
My God, if she... Fuck you. If she did, I don't know. I don't know. Your parents are a saint. What do they each have?
So what did you guys think of it?
Me? Oh,
No, the other fucking people doing the podcast.
So, immediately off the bat, I didn't really care for the Nintendo 64 feel. I don't know what it is about, like, games nowadays just, like, doing that retro shit of, like...
You know this is an old game,
Yeah,
right?
this
No,
wasn't
I
good
understand
retro.
that. Yeah, but this is supposed to be a remaster.
Well, it's just a
or-
graphical update.
Yeah,
graphical
it
update,
wasn't
yeah.
like, because it wasn't a true, like, from what we like with Homeworld, remasters were like rebuilt in a new engine. You know, this was just kind of like the definitive
enhanced. This
edition.
is this is the enhanced edition,
Lipstick
which I
on a
think is
pig.
what they're supposed. I think that's what they're called.
enhancement.
if I'm not mistaken, and if you can look that up, if this version was called Enhanced Edition or Remastered.
Yeah, because they were
Enhanced Edition.
they were gonna like actually redo it in a different engine, and I think that got canned. This is not that.
So yes, from what I read, that System Shock 3 is like kind of like done, but a different developer is doing
they're still
the
working on
actual remaster of System Shock 1, which they have like I think 10 hours of the first like gameplay, or
Right.
like maybe like 10 minutes, and it looks fantastic. And I guess that's kind of where it messed me up when I watched that first before we played the game, and then when I went into it and when we played the game, and I was like,
Expecting something else.
yeah,
But I mean, graphics aside, there was a lot of like.
it was cool. It had. I'll tell you, it was more. I was just about to say that there was more jump scares in this than there was in BioShock, and that's a lie. There was a lot, just because I don't know. Although they both have a cold darkness to them,
Yeah.
for some reason I fear the ocean more than space.
Yeah, fair enough.
And just like being underwater. But it was basically that. It was just like, the ship was Rapture.
It seems like they both of the games definitely had a cyberpunk feel to them, but it seems like they took BioShock and they did what they wanted to do from System Shock, but were limited by like the technology
hell
at the
yeah.
time to do.
Yeah,
But you
most
can definitely
yeah.
see what they were trying to do.
Yeah, most definitely. And that helped in its favor. It was just like the interface was clunky. I really
Those fucking ladders.
yeah. It's just that.
Finally, I got up the ladder. How come I can't get off? Oh, good. I've jumped off and fallen to my death.
One scary thing that it did have was when you trip alarms, and then you're like the alarm going off, and then
Yep.
you know that those things are coming like running at you, and you like you can like you can run all the way to the beginning, and they'll still chase you down.
You know how you get away from them? Jump on a table. I was being chased by two of them, and I jumped on a table, and they both stopped and just started saying, "Your song is not ours," and just sat there and stared at me for 2 minutes while the alarm went off. Then I shot them both in the face and got off the table and walked away.
Well,
Sorry, I discovered that it was like accidental. I was trying to run, and I hit a table, and a new space would climb over it after like 2 seconds or
So
3 seconds.
basically, you pulled like a 1920s housewife when they see a rat.
Yes,
and
but
the kids.
then the rats, I mean, versus using all my ammo and nearly dying, yeah. But then the rats proceeded to stare at me. One of them did, in friggin' Dead Island, was that the game we played first?
Yep.
How the zombies, when you're up on something, would reach up over their heads, even if you were just on the hood of a car, so they were just like raving in front of you. One of them did that for a heartbeat. It was like, oh, they're gonna, and then he put his arms down and was like, your song is not our own. Abandon the flesh. I was like, okay. Also, apparently, I didn't try it, but I was watching a Let's Play. I should probably credit the guy. I don't remember his name. I'll pull him up. But if you attempt to hack the security system, you don't have to hack it. You just have to go up to it and click the hack button. The alarm turns off.
Oh,
Yeah, you know the alarm consoles?
Yeah.
If you're near one and you just run up and hit hack, it just turns off the alarm because the idea is it wants to turn off the alarm for you to hack it, but then you don't have to hack it. It just turns the alarm off and you can walk away.
and that was never fixed. Apparently not.
Let me pull up I'll pull up the Let's Play so I can see when he played it. I was also just reading. Apparently, the Enhanced Edition is still in development. It started development in August 2019 and hasn't released yet.
Right. So then I think that's the one where we're going to do it in a different engine, and we were
Yeah.
playing the one the same engine. Just
we were playing like the definitive
that
version of
what's
the
going on?
original
Okay,
game.
okay.
They're porting it to the Kex engine. Be careful with that one.
What? That's not even.
I don't want to get sued by Kenex.
Yeah, the old Lego ripoff people, huh?
Rip off. You son of a bitch.
Is there anyone out there who connects better than Lego?
There's a whole subreddit devoted to the argument.
Didn't we talk
There
about
is?
another?
I found it.
Didn't we talk about another Lego ripoff before? No, that was yeah.
I called you Duplo.
There you go. Yeah. Jesus, there you go.
Hey, man.
There's a theme going on here.
Callbacks are awesome. It's okay.
What's it called? The whole thing around the movie with the girl named Six, the TV show.
Stranger Things?
Stranger Things.
11.
Yeah, I was going to say.
11, whatever.
Wrong number.
I was more than
that one
halfway
movie
there.
with
All
that girl
right? I
named
was more
Six?
than halfway there.
It's a TV show, and her name's 11.
and she's a boy. What's it? Nostalgia. Yeah, just sales on nostalgia. That's what we're aiming for.
Well, next episode we'll talk about what was the erector sets.
I've
Remember
got
those?
an erector set for you.
Oh god damn it!
You walked right into that.
Your erector set? No,
Yes.
I didn't.
Yes. You bent all the metal components. It's damaged now. I have to buy more erectors.
Well,
Game set.
you might be the start of an actual cyberpunk revolution if you get a bionic penis.
I'm talking about lovable children's toys.
I'm sure if we looked it up, there are prosthetic peni.
Prosthetic penile.
Did you come from Barcelona when you said prosthetic?
I don't know. I just felt like doing that. It wasn't even an accident. I just wanted to.
Prosthetic pene.
You guys may or may not know this, but for probably the first time in the history of this podcast, we're all sober. We're working on it, but usually we end up shooting the shit for an hour before we start recording. My first impression of this game, with a completely flawless cut that involved no mic detaching from its cable and bopping me in the face.
Never.
True 20 style slapstick.
The story was excellent, which was like, I'd always heard back in the day this was one of the greatest games of all time. The story was fantastic, but God, that engine. Like, playing BioShock first, and then going back and playing System Shock, it's like, I played Warcraft 2 first, and then I tried to go play 1, and you just can't do it. The limitations on the engine, I forget what they call it in training, when they were teaching how to climb ladders and jump over shit.
Basic training?
I don't know what you're asking.
Training, yes. Mm-hmm. They use a term. It's like I can't remember the term. Like, it's like grappling, but not. But for climbing over shit. And the idea is you face stuff and hold space, and your guy climbs it, like in a lot of games. But in most games, you have like a jump animation, and then he catches and picks himself up. No, you just have to stand there for 2 seconds, not knowing what's going to happen, and then you just kind of climb up on stuff, which is infuriating when it's a very clunky engine. It's a very old engine, which was very limiting. But the game itself was good.
I felt the same way. Full disclosure, I didn't get very far in the game at all.
Yeah, let's go over that.
I just really, really didn't like it. Not necessarily like the setting or anything, because I think Cyberpunk setting is really cool for games. And not necessarily the story, because I didn't really get that far in the story, but I imagine it'd be good. All these people can't be wrong, but I just couldn't get past the interface. It was just way too clunky for me. Like, having to open your inventory to use your psychic powers, and a lot of the different stations, like the charging station and the alarm stations and the stations where you can upgrade yourself, they all kind of looked the same. There wasn't kind of a visual cue as to what was what, so it kind of all just got lost in the mix. And on top of that, those stations looked almost the same as like the random consoles that are around that you can't even interact with.
Yeah.
So like, I had to go and check every single thing, and it was just tedious.
I don't know how many times I tried to click on a painting only to find out it was a digital display, and it would just change the painting. But in the middle, there was a burst of static, so being in a silent room, like, oh, look, an upgrade station. Oh, fuck, what the hell was that? And then a different classical painting is facing me. But yeah, the graphics were so limited that you couldn't really, you had to be looking directly at stuff, and yeah, it was difficult.
I get it. They were limited by the times, and I'm sure if we played it back in 1999, we'd be like, "Oh my god, look at the look at how realistic the people look."
Yeah, the faces were what, like,
not just their
probably
faces,
20
their goddamn
polys.
heads.
No, that's what I'm talking about. Their heads were probably like 20 polys, which at the time was cool. I mean, like,
I have such good screenshots. I cannot wait to give them to
Heck
Nick.
yeah,
They're
heck yeah.
so hilarious.
The first time I saw a person, I thought it was a mutated enemy.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, he's just standing there in uniform. Oh, never mind. That's just a human.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That makes sense. But
I definitely liked the atmosphere, though. It kept you. It gave me a sense of tension, which I honestly don't like in games, but is always. It takes time to develop that, to build that, and like, I mean, taking 20 minutes to clear a hallway that's completely empty just because you're waiting to see. But everything usually gives you a noise to say, hey.
That's one thing it did do, right? Where, like you said, the atmosphere, like right off the bat, as soon as you get to like the ship that you're supposed to be on, you already feel like at ease. Or unease.
Unease, yeah. Well, and like
the exact opposite.
right after the intro, like, you can tell. So you get off, and it's like, okay, you're in the game, and she's telling you everything's going wrong, and all the shit's breaking, and I think there's blood and stuff around. A lot like the intro to Half-Life. After you have the Cascade event.
Never played it. Maybe we will.
You didn't? Okay.
nah, he's never played.
Maybe we
let's add that to the
will.
short
Maybe. If you guys want to see us or play it along with us, let us know.
Yeah. But you're in out of your second hallway, and you walk into this room with this giant space window. It's also called a window, from what I hear. I don't know why I said space window.
Made of space glass.
And it's the first room that you're like you're not panicked anymore. You're kind of okay. The game's easing me in, and so the tension starts to ebb. And what's the AI's name that's talking you through?
Shodan?
No, well, that's the big reveal.
My bad.
But yeah, you find out it's Shodan later in the game. But Shodan was the antagonist from the first game. But it's just like, oh, that antenna's unstable. It's going to break off and smash into the window. And it's just an antenna on a different part of the ship, like 100 meters away. And you're like, how do you know that it's unstable? It's going to short out, and then the antennas don't like rip off and fly at the only window in the area when they short out.
That sounds a lot like Portal 2. Like that
GLaDOS.
Yeah. No. In Portal 2, the guy who was guiding you around.
Yeah, the entry
and
one,
then he ends up being.
Yeah,
you know.
but so like it's the tension starts
Spoiler,
to ebb,
sorry.
and they're trying to build it back up. So I was like, you know what, this is it's not on a timer because they're not going to kill me this far in the game. So I just sat there for a good 20 minutes. I think I went and gotten dinner, and it doesn't break off till you're about to leave the room, and then it comes right at you and shatters the window right as you're about to leave.
So I had a different experience on that part. She said, "Oh God, it's going to break off," and I was standing there, and then it just broke off. I hadn't even moved.
Yeah, same here.
But
yeah.
it doesn't kill you. You can just stay in there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay, that's what it was. Yeah,
I do want to say one thing though about like you were saying in Portal 2, the guy who's trying to help you ends up being the bad guy. BioShock.
Oh yeah,
same exact kind of twist at the end.
And that like BioShock.
Oh yeah, that's
There
true.
were a bunch of reviews from BioShock when it came out. Zero Punctuation, Ben Yahtzee, whatever his name is.
His name is Ben Yahtzee.
He goes by Yahtzee, that's his handle, but it's
Okay.
like Ben Crawshaw or something. He, in his review of BioShock, he's like, they ripped off System Shock 2, and it's like, yeah, I was looking for that. I didn't know until right now it's the same fucking people. So
Yeah.
they didn't like, yeah, they ripped it off because, hey, we're at a new studio and we can't call it System Shock 3, but we want to. But yeah, I did like, there was a lot of it I really liked, and some things like in BioShock where you upgrade the weapons and they show a visible upgrade.
Yeah.
The little things like that are, I've become used to as a more modern gamer. This one kind of like, it didn't let me down, but it's like playing the old XCOM. You know, there's
when you
just
get
some
used to
little
certain
things.
amenities, quote unquote, it's hard to
Amenities.
do without them when you go back to like older games. In the same way, if you're going to like drive a car from like the 70s, there wouldn't be power steering or fucking seat belts or shit like that, and you'd be like you know how to drive it and you could enjoy it, but you'd be missing the
And
AC and stuff.
I'll have to say for this podcast, this is the first time where I thought that wouldn't happen. Because we did Knights of the Republic. We've done a lot of old games where like they still hold up, and this is the probably the first one where it's like yeesh.
I think FPSs could be a little harder to do. To go back to because FPS is usually
Fuck that! I'm going back to Halo all the time.
But
well,
that's- so-
Halo's not from 1999.
Halo's legendary. That, and even Halo, it was designed. They had, I guess there's the Marines, but they had more polys to work with, and if you go back and look at the original Commander Keyes, his face looks all fucking weird.
oh, they all look weird.
Yeah,
I mean, it was still it was the original Xbox.
yeah, and that like the System Shock was what 6 years before that. Halo
was that
2000
on consoles? What would that have been on?
I think System Shock was only on PC,
Yeah, it was
wasn't it?
PC only.
Oh, well, that makes that makes total fucking sense. No wonder I was looking for a console game, and it was a weird mesh of like being just like a straight up first person, but made for PC, and that was kind of like off putting to me for some reason.
I feel like if they had made System Shock 2 as a straight up FPS, it would have been easier in a sense if they didn't have those RPG elements in, because you wouldn't have all those, not all those, but the UI to go through to pull up like your nanite powers or what have you, because you basically have to stop and in the middle of a battle.
That's the kicker, is that it doesn't in so many games. Yeah, all right, I'm pulling up to switch my magical element or to change my ammo type. The action pauses. Not in
like
this one. No,
exactly, yeah.
Like your Dragon Ages.
Yeah,
or,
I was picking up broken shotguns to pull the shells out of them to get some shotgun ammo, and a dude runs up on me and was like, ah! And then I promptly pointed a broken shotgun at him and pulled the trigger and was like, that's not going to work, and had to run away from him and pull out my crowbar or my wrench and wail on his face.
Yeah, he has not Gordon Freeman.
No.
Different weapons, same concept.
Yeah, I believe the main character's name was Ford and Greeman, right?
I can neither confirm nor deny that.
It was Sean Darachuk. That's what his name was.
Are you making this up?
Sean Darachuk?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you about Sean Darachuk.
Oh no.
He reviewed this game in 2008, and he said,
Oh, that guy.
This game is broken to the point of being unplayable. I don't get a gun when I start, and I'm told that I can't use the gun I just found, because people in the military don't know what guns are. My only weapon is a wrench. Wow, this isn't fun. Easily the worst PC game ever made.
Now, let's just say that Sean Darachuk's views do not necessarily represent those of Jason, Nate, or Daniel. There you go.
I just wanted to give him a call out, because this is largely recognized as one of the top games of all time, and he gave it a 0 on Metacritic.
And this guy reviewed this in 1999?
2008.
Oh, okay. This wasn't a guy
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess that was a while ago, but yeah, he's probably, I don't know.
Dead.
Wow. I was going to say embarrassed.
Everybody who reviewed games in 2008 is dead now. Didn't you know that?
Oh my god,
That's
I'm
a
due.
well-known thing. You never reviewed a game.
Yeah, you're right. I don't review games ever. Why would I ever do something as stupid as that?
On Steam?
Making a joke about the
Goddamn
podcast.
swing and a miss, man.
No. I got the joke. I'm adding on the actual question though. Have you ever actually made a review on Steam?
Maybe once or twice, but I can't
have.
recall a specific time.
I've definitely thrown up some reviews. There's a hair on my mic. On Steam, because why not?
Yeah, I've never done that. I did that for the first time, and I think I talked about it on the podcast for Sekiro.
And then you ate your hat.
This game sucks. Oh fuck, I'm wrong.
I wonder if Sean feels the same. Hey, Sean, if you're listening,
Yeah, right.
maybe you want to amend that. Maybe not. I don't know.
But don't contact us, because remember, he's dead, so he'd be a zombie if he was coming after us.
Oh, we can break out the Ouija board.
Oh, I'm not sure why that made me feel bad.
Well, you're the one who's talking about him being dead, and I bring out the Ouija
I
board, and
didn't
that's
kill the man
may he rest in peace.
with Wade Boggs.
What we need are canoe paddles to wail on them menacingly on an island.
Who?
Dead Island. Okay,
Oh
man,
God,
you really
wow,
confused me on that one.
Yeah, I can get. Woof.
Everyone knows that in the Puerto Rican culture, when someone dies, you get your canoe paddles and you beat the corpse until it reanimates.
Isn't it?
It also keeps away the chupacabra.
That one.
Yeah.
There you go.
The goat sucker. Also, did we talk about that last month?
The chupacabra.
Sucking off goats? No.
I didn't know this until about 3 weeks ago. Chupacabra literally translates to goat sucker, and the dude to my left is part Mexican and knew that and was like, yeah, I feel like that's information people need to know.
I
You
just
know,
don't know.
chupacabra is a Puerto Rican thing, actually.
Yeah, that's where it started. Yeah, and then
Oh,
it moved
yeah.
to Mexico. Yeah.
I don't
Did
know
it
how
really?
that would
Yeah.
come up in everyday conversation. Like, hey man, did you know? that-
Well, I mean, with the activities you do with goats, I figure that's a pretty regular topic of conversation.
I don't like to spread that though. No. For those of you who can't see,
Which is everyone you...
I think that he wanted to make a joke about goats and spreading, and he was thinking real hard about not making that joke, and his face turned beet red, and he looked like he was going to explode. Oh my god.
And then I just dropped my sunglasses in a bag of chips. Somebody say something.
So, System Shock 2.
Mm-hmm.
So, I know that, obviously, I didn't finish it. Jay, you didn't finish it. Nate, did you end up finishing the game?
Should I lie or tell the truth?
First one, 10 to other. Don't tell us which one is the truth.
Yeah, I finished it, and no, I didn't.
End of story.
No, I did not finish it. But I did. I had this like 2 nights ago. I was like, holy crap. Steam was saying you played 7 hours, and I was like, Jason's definitely going to bring this up because I always mac on you. Mac? I always hate on you for
You hating on him?
Yeah. Sexy man. But I always give you shit for how few hours you played. So I opened Steam on one of my computers and turned Hearts of Iron on and turned Steam off, or went to offline on my other computer to play a bunch of hours.
You cheater!
To secretly add
really
hours to my
funny.
Steam count. So I ended up, at the end of my final save file had 7.5 hours on it, which was the exact amount of time I had left the game open on Steam anyway. So Steam says 7 hours and I actually played 7 hours. I made it to the first Cyborg Midwife. Okay, if you guys
We don't know.
Okay, there's I want to say it's when you're getting off deck 2. So there's 4 decks and you end up hitting them all, but you go down to deck 2 and then I think you bypass deck 3 and go straight to deck 4. But there's this like long corridor. Think the when you're racing through the Pillar of Autumn on the Jeep at the end of Halo 1.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like that, but you're just walking.
It's a warthog.
Oh yeah, you're right. Not the way I play it.
It's a puma.
But it's just a long corridor like that, and there's like shit jumping out at you at random. There is it's like got turrets and whatever, but when you get to the end, you just see this thing that moves a lot faster than all the other enemies, and it's going ding 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 ding, and it looks like a female character model. Not that you could tell in this game what's any gender or even a thing, but it makes this weird tinking noise and it charges you. And I shot the hell out of it, killed it. and then I'm looking at it, and it's got like metal legs. Basically, it's cut off at the torso, and it's got these like weird spindly metal legs. And I'm not talking like big robotic legs. No, they're like they look like umbrella rods, but with hinges and fucking weird. And then it's a female torso with a face and arms and all that shit.
Does it have boobies?
I don't recall, but honestly, I don't think the models were gendered in this game with how bad
all models
How'd
have
you know it was
boobies.
female.
Because it's.
Are you assuming the cyborg's gender?
No, I'm assuming a midwife's gender.
Why?
Because
Midwives can be male. I'm just saying.
it would be a mid-husband then.
That's not how that works.
That is exactly how that works.
I disagree,
Well,
but I have no basis
Here's
for
what
that.
I'm saying. I'm not assuming it's gender. I don't know what its mental state was.
You're assuming it's sex.
Yes,
What-
and it was robotic beneath the waist. So I guess it's not a woman. Like the minute I said that, I was like, wait a minute. God damn it.
Yeah. Keep your train of thought with us.
Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna like the only like downsides I'd have about this game are the engine, not the engine, the control interface, and then did you guys notice it was really dark?
Yeah, I mean that's a design element.
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. It was,
figured it was
but it
like
was
that,
like it's already so difficult to differentiate. Now this is looking at it with our eyes. If we were playing it in 1999, we'd be like, oh, look at the defined character models.
With our 1999 eyes?
Yes, they
Like
were
I
much
was like,
sharper.
what?
They're
Shit,
I was
math.
12. I would
been
never
13.
play this when I was 12 because
Yeah.
it was scary.
Yeah, it scared
Yeah.
me now as an
Yeah.
adult. Like it would give me a genuine tension in my chest.
Even though, like, because that's around the same time you would play Vampire the Masquerade, though.
That never scared me though. There's not
Really?
jump scares really in that.
There aren't a ton of jump scares in this, but like, did you guys when you heard the? I'm gonna call them splicers, the mutants, the aliens that were taking over, the human,
Yeah.
whatever. When you'd hear their voices, like would you not get a little tense? Like
This didn't scare me just because it looked not even cartoony, like less than cartoony.
the fear wasn't like, oh, that is frightening to the eyes. The fear was, oh my god, I have to husband my health, and I really it took me quite a while.
Wife
to,
your health. Don't
Yes,
assume.
Yeah,
please.
you're right. Yeah, I have to goat my health.
Spread it around. Spread it
Oh,
around.
Jesus Christ.
But no, I don't think it wasn't because it didn't quote unquote look scary. It was just it was hard for me to suspend my disbelief because of the way it didn't really look realistic. So I wasn't really engrossed in the world. I mean, I can get past a lot of bad graphics, but when I'm consistently angry about the UI and how difficult it is to play the game that I wanted to play, I'm just sitting there irritated and not able to actually enjoy what the narrative they're trying to push.
You're no longer playing the game. You're working your way through it. It became it could be the interface. I'm actually kind of excited for the reboot because the interface became a chore very quickly. Keith Ballard is the YouTuber I watched do a Let's Play on it.
So no Yahtzee?
No, Yahtzee just does reviews. Have you never seen Zero Punctuation?
I have, but
Okay.
is this the Yahtzee guy that you're talking about?
No, Keith Ballard is the dude on YouTube who I watched the Let's Play.
Oh, the Let's Play. Okay,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
bad, my bad.
My bad.
No,
you're
my bad.
No, you're bad. No,
No,
Jason's
I insist.
bad. God damn it. But no, I after about that when I first saw that thing genuinely gave me. It wasn't like frightening to the eyes, but the way it was coming at me faster than anything else, tinking along.
Was that a boss or was it just a new kind
No,
of...
it was just the first time you see this new kind
Gotcha.
of monster.
Were there boss battles?
I didn't find any.
No?
I mean, like I was expecting because you when you're. Did you guys make it past the first deck?
No.
Did you fight the robot?
I made it to like the morgue, I think, or the
No, that's all on the first deck. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
wait, the morgue. Okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, I guess you could go. That was the first thing I did was the morgue, but I could have gone right. I just happened to go left when I. Got
I
to
went
the first
all
door.
over the place in the first.
Yeah.
I definitely explored the entire thing, except for where where I guess I petered off was when the first security camera was.
Yeah.
and like for the life of me, I couldn't figure out like what the fuck because like I couldn't go around it. I couldn't like.
So I had the same problem, but I got stuck around the same spot because it was just irritating to me. And then I was chatting with Nate about it at work, and he was like, "Yeah, you can just like take your wrench and hit the cameras, and they'll get destroyed."
Shit.
Yeah, I was like trying to sneak past them and
yeah,
like
same here,
trying to
yeah.
hack them and stuff. No, you just hit them with the wrench, and now
The
your
only
problem's
time
done.
I used my first pistol, I used 6 bullets on that one turret at the end of the hallway, which is, I think, you know what I'm talking about, that turret? And I was like, what's behind this turret? Nothing. That's the end of the hallway. That door's locked until you unlock it much later. And then I had like 4 bullets left, and I just saved them for whenever I found cameras, because I got good enough with the wrench. Wrench? Yeah, not not crowbar, with the crow wrench, that you fight all the enemies with the wrench and shake your watch audibly on the mic, and then you get so few bullets up front, and like that first, it feels like you've got no resources at the beginning because you've got no nanites. You've only got 3 or 4 bullets once you find a pistol, if you find the one that's working, and it did, like, I had to, at that point, I kind of paused for a little bit and started watching this Let's Play, and this guy, like, no fear, is just running around swinging the wrench in every direction. I was like, oh yeah, I guess I could just do that. Like,
so just to recap, it feels like you have no resources in the beginning because you have no resources in the beginning.
Yes.
Okay. I want to make that clear.
But it feels like one of those games where you're going to be so limited, like Half-Life kind of did, where like you would conserve your magnum ammo for the slave soldiers, and you wouldn't use explosives unless you absolutely had to because you didn't know how much more you were going to get.
It's like every game I play, I'm like that.
But like I feel like with this game, especially once you get to mid-deck 2, there's so many shotgun guys coming at you. There's random corpses with ammo everywhere that it's not, you're not hosing walls with pistol ammo.
It's not a survival horror.
Yeah, it's not Resident Evil. Is it Resident Evil where you have like 7 bullets? And, like a bullet is a tool, not a weapon.
Yes.
I feel like you're expressing a political viewpoint by agreeing with me there. Bullets are tools. I'm gonna go hammer my house together with this bullet.
Tools don't kill people. Bullets kill people.
Fired out of tools. But no, it was. I mean, I really did start enjoying it. The interface it made playing a chore. So I just watched a Let's Play, and the story is super solid. You get after that first deck, there's that robot. Daniel didn't see it.
No.
Please tell me you saw it. So you get out, and she's like, you got to get the card to get into the maintenance corridor to get down to deck 2. And
we don't know.
She tells you this when like you played this part. If you made it the first
in
camera.
The very beginning, where she's telling you like elaborate shit where
Yeah.
like you have to get there to there, but then you also to get there you have to go there.
Your first task is find a way or get to the elevator. Elevators are dead because power's out. All right, find a way to access the maintenance corridor. Well, if you look under the sign that says maintenance on either side of the hallway, there's 2 windows, and through each window is a gigantic mech. One of them is stationary. I'm like, maybe it's off. The other one follows you, like looks around the window. And so I figured these mechs are going to be a boss. They're going to be difficult as hell. And they are, I guess, if I was going after him with a wrench. But it took me like 3 pistol rounds with the armor-piercing rounds, and the thing just exploded into pieces. The hardest part about it was that then the pieces they stay there for a couple minutes, and it's hard to get past the pieces. You have to scale the pieces of the mech.
Oh, you clip on them.
Yeah. And you can't figure out which one of the 6 is what you can actually loot. And it doesn't have any loot. But there weren't bosses, to answer your question, in the longest possible manner.
So, as per usual.
But speaking of explosions... one of my favorite things.
Please don't talk about Taco
Bell. My favorite thing besides Taco Bell explosions was like going towards the graphics. Hilariously, all the explosions reminded me of like Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Whenever somebody would just like toss something on the ground, they just randomly explode. It looked like it was the exact same effect, and I just kept on cracking up every time.
It very well may have been because it looked almost exactly like that.
It was a throwback. Like some of the audio clips, the gunshots. It wasn't like what was the game we played where it was like one of the gunshots was exactly out of Half-Life. But there were so many audio files that were clearly like open use or just floating around and no one owned them because they had been made in the 90s.
Like generic baby laughter. I hear that one all the time. Wilhelm.
I did not hear either of those in the game. I meant like the explosions.
Yeah, but the same kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it was kind of like a throwback to my old
You said general.
Yeah, I forgot. You both saluted so out of sync. This military unit needs drill. And goat spreading.
Oh, God. Don't make this a thing.
What I found super interesting about the beginning of the game, as we know, that's all I played, was how you picked your skills / professions, where it gave you these 3 rooms you can go into. This isn't counting like the tutorial that it gives you, the 3 rooms where it just teaches you about the training, which I thought that was cool too. Whereas like each one had a different voice and it was like kind of pretty much just generic to each.
You had like your Texas drill sergeant,
your scientist, and then you're like your telekinetic person was like a hipster or a hippie, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. But you basically were just given scenarios, or not even necessarily scenarios, just a question. Just what you wanted to do, what did you want to be, basically.
I think the story was like you were going on assignment. in the military or whatever, and it was like, well, what assignment do you want to take, and
exactly
which room
what
you
profession
chose.
do you want to be? And it was like, hey, do you want to be like
each hallway was a tour of duty.
Exactly.
You had a 4-year contract, and so you had 3 tours of duty that would give you skills. But the way they did it was like, you walk down this hallway, and then you're on a tour of duty for a year. The first one I did was like, this isn't a training.
it took me a while because I didn't want to fuck it up, because that's how I kind of figured that's what was going on. And so I stood there for a while before going through, because I think you were Daniel was telling. God damn it, I did it again. Dan was telling me.
Did you mean Daniel?
That he didn't realize at first and had just picked some random shit.
Well, I read them all, and I listened to it because it was like, you're going to go to Venus or whatever. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool. I'll do that. And I never noticed that it showed you the stats that you'll get for going through. So I just ran through the first 2, and then on the third one, I was like, oh, no. Yeah. I don't have no idea how I'm spec'd out.
I went through the first one expecting a cutscene or a specialty training or something, and then you just pop back in the hallway, and it's like, now for your next tour, you can do... And I was like, did it glitch out? Did I miss the first tour?
Luckily, and hopefully they'll maybe if they ever do remaster this version, will maybe put something in between those things.
Or like give you a little heads up, like, hey, what you choose here is going to be your spec.
Yeah. Luckily, I did
show you your existing spec before you do
exactly. But luckily, I did see those things, and I was like, okay, I was able to navigate through. I just thought that was a really interesting way. I guess what sucks is I just didn't get to see the payoff of it.
Yeah.
So.
It was so like I liked it because it was a cool way to it was something different than just staring at a stat sheet and hovering over strength effects or melee damage, agility effects. Like, I love Fallout games. I love any games that start with a kind of a base stats and then modified to different skills. But it was like, I didn't remember. I think I had put 1 extra point in strength and 1 extra point in cyber. Then I went into that hallway. I was like, what do I need? I don't know. And so I just picked one at random. I ended up trying to even myself out, which I ended up having a lot of gunplay ability, which was cool, and a decent amount of strength. But then as you got more cyber nanites. You could, at some of the upgrade areas, you could add more to your base stats, which affected your outcomes on your upper tier stats. But most of my nanites I was using to gain skills, because you need hack 2 to get into locked crates. You need hack 3 to hack the vending machines. Oh, dude, the vending machines. Did you guys like those? That reminded me so... I mean, it's obviously why, but, like, that reminded me so much of BioShock, the way you walk up. Hello, how are you? And, like, even the broken ones, like, in BioShock, the broken ones are... Hello. And, like, there was one broken one on deck 2, and you walked up to it, and it was like...
I know, what a ripoff, right?
They're not maintaining shit on this ship, man. It's done.
The aliens... they're
really
just concerned about their song.
The only vending machine I saw was in the training area.
Well, there's vending machines, and you spend nanites on stuff. Although some of them are
you saw there wasn't one in the beginning, because I at least saw that. I just didn't buy anything because I didn't have nanites.
Like I said, it was hard for me to tell what was interactable and what wasn't.
Yeah. There was a lot of stuff that was interactable. Like I went for like the first 30 minutes of the game, not realizing I could open the drawers on the desks.
Oh yeah,
I had to bump into one, and it was like search, and was like, oh, and you could find stuff in the desk drawers.
I never realized that.
Or the corpses too. I wouldn't have known.
Oh yeah, dude, I was looting those things before they hit the ground. I was like, because I wanted everything, and did you have an alarm go off on you, Daniel?
Did what?
An alarm go off on you?
Yeah. That's shortly after that is when I quit.
I think it's limited to like 6 or 5 enemies spawned. So when the alarm's going off, you've killed 2. Maybe you were fighting one, and that's when the camera saw you. As the new ones are coming up, it's despawning the old ones. But you're in a constant combat, so you don't have time to loot the corpses, which is infuriating, because it's like... The only advantage of the alarms going off was that you ended up usually with a little bit less health and fairly wealthy, because you got stuff off all these corpses.
It probably was limited in the number of sprites it could have.
Yeah, and so they would just fade out, and... that really bothered me in that it's a game where you are pretty broke all the time. You can get a recycler later, which allows you to recycle random shit on the ground. Like, you see in the magazines? Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's just random magazines that you can't read because they're too pixelated and they don't do anything. It's not like the magazines in Fallout where you gain a skill. Right. I carried 3 of them around hoping that's what was going to happen. But no, all you can do is eventually recycle them into like 1 nanite, and a gun is like 10 nanites, and a bottle of vodka is like 3 nanites. I didn't even get there. I just know that occurred when I was researching.
Did you get any kind of feel that this game could have had any sort of influence on the Fallout series? I mean, the later Fallout series. I think that Fallout 1 and 2 were around the same time.
Yeah, Fallout 1 and 2, I think, were like 95 and 2000. And Fallout 1 and 2 were like pure RPGs. They weren't... Fallout 3 is when they switched over, and I think definitely...
I was thinking Dead Space. Dead Space, just as we were talking about it, I never specifically played it. It's one of the games that I always wanted to, but here we can do some EA bashing. One of the ones that sequels got fucked.
Was Dead Space EA?
It wasn't at first.
They bought it and killed it. It's almost why I'm glad Microsoft stopped making computer games.
Noticeably, I think Dead Space 3 was the one that suffered most from it. That was probably like the worst received one.
I played one of them. I can't remember which one it was. It was on original Xbox, I think.
That was Dead Space 1.
I like
original
that.
Xbox? No. There was. I think it started 360.
Yeah,
Then maybe it was
I don't think it
360.
came out.
Yeah.
That was a good game. It was scary.
Yeah, I felt like. I mean, probably just because you're in space and it's kind of like
And it's dead.
Cyberpunk feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that it was very similar. I didn't even think when you said Dead Space, I was like, survival horror.
Mm-hmm. It gave me that feel. That was, I think, maybe one game that could be influenced by.
There's probably like way more than we realize because I can't speak for you guys, but horror games are not really my forte. I don't play a lot of them. I don't know a ton about them. I mean, I played Resident Evils here and there, and I played Dead Space back when it first came out. And
What about Five Nights at Freddy's?
no, fuck that game. Fuck that game.
Next month we'll be playing.
Not that it's a bad game, don't get me wrong, but I can't deal with the jump scares. It's too much for me.
Dude, weren't you sitting on my bed in my room while I was playing in the living room, and you're like, I have to stop watching?
Yes, I can.
Yeah.
Even
I
when I'm
remember,
playing, I can't even watch the damn thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Too much.
Kelly loves that game, but she can't play it. I've tried to get her to play it over and over. She wants me to play it. It's like, baby, I'll die of a heart attack. I can't.
I don't blame her.
One of the things I noticed watching the playthrough, and I hadn't noticed it at the time, and I think you'll be interested in this, Jay, because you really liked Thief 3, right?
Thief?
Wasn't
I never played those games.
Wasn't it?
I never played a
I thought
Thief
you were playing
game.
the wheels off a Thief game. Maybe that was my uncle.
How do you confuse him and your uncle? Why are you rubbing your head?
They're both bald.
Yeah.
No, I know you're not bald.
Jay, there's one bald person in here, and it ain't Jay.
I'm getting there, though.
Thinning. We all are, man. I clog the drain about every 3 showers now.
Yeah, but that's from your balls. He's talking about his head.
Yeah, I have a severe problem. Thinning. So this game was made in the Dark engine, which was the engine that the Thief, the Dark Project, and Thief 2, the Metal Age, were made in, which were games very, very heavily about stealth. Thief 3 came out. What was the game you were playing the wheels off of a while back?
Sekiro?
No, it was before that. Whatever.
I mean, I like those type of games, like
Yeah.
your Assassin's Creeds.
Yeah,
And
that's like Assassin's Creed. Like from my understanding, having never played Thief, it was all about stealth. If you got caught, it was like some of the old Splinter Cells. If you got caught, you basically got shot to death. So you had to be stealthy.
yeah, Assassin's Creed wasn't like that. You had different
Assassin's Creed,
options,
you were a one-man murder machine.
Yeah.
But there were definitely times where I was like hiding, like there's a patrolling unit and I'm checking rooms in a hallway, and there were times when like the door would open and I'd be 10 feet away and he'd be like, hey, and run out after me. And there were other times where I'm like, surely this guy's going to jump me. I'll just be ready for him. And they'd just walk right past. And I couldn't figure out why. And I was watching this playthrough, and the guy, let me call him out again, Keith Ballard on YouTube had commented because he was watching him play. And he's literally in a corner and he looks up. He's looting something. And one of the splicers, whatever they're called, is like as close as I am to you, and just walks right on past, whistling an alien. And
Whistling an alien?
it was, yes, like, he wasn't actually whistling. It was a joke. Like he was just, my song is my own. But the shadows aren't really well shown on the screen, but the Thief engine is built all around hiding in the shadow. So it's the same engine, and there is a huge stealth mechanic that is, it's hard to tell because of the graphical limitations, and I think they used the engine because it was an engine they had at hand. I don't think they used it for its stealth elements, but they're still in there. So if you're in a corner and it's dark, the aliens or the possessed humans will just kind of walk right the fuck past you.
So it's not just line of sight stealth. There's actually
There's a light
mechanic,
effect, yeah.
but they don't give you like a meter to show where you are.
I don't know if there's the light mechanic, but I know that there were a few times I was like, how did this guy see me from so far away? And other times where, how did that guy not see me? And then watching this guy play, watching Keith play, it did the same thing. Okay, so sorry to interrupt here, but watching Keith play, and Daniel just Hitler saluted at me, and I have no idea why.
Because you said, how did he not see me?
How did not see me?
Okay, when we say general and sergeant and whatnot, we can salute, but if I say Nazi by accident, please don't start Nazi saluting. You're going to get beat up by me.
Oh, man.
We take intolerance seriously on this podcast.
Very, very seriously.
Yeah, we were seriously intolerant.
No. I will say, okay, well, maybe just so
Wait,
it's
wait,
known.
wait. Are you about to talk about Nazism?
No.
Okay, good. Go ahead.
Just so it's known, there's 2 people of color on this podcast.
Yeah.
And one who's just inferior.
Well, I'm Anglo-Saxon, sir. So one thing you guys definitely will not have found is when you get to not the first like level up area, I believe it's the second on deck 2, there's your magic. What do they call it?
Nanites?
No, that's the money. The thing where you have magical powers. You hold the ball.
Psionics?
Yeah, there's psionics, there's your weapon skills, there's your base stats, and then there's like your profession skills, which are like the hacking and the other stuff. But there's a 5th console, but very rarely. I only saw 1, and when I was watching this playthrough, he only found I think 2 or 3, and it's a one-time perk. And so it's like 1 of 12 things. One of them is 3 extra inventory slots, which you guys, if you played further, inventory management becomes terrible because you just have so little inventory space. But there's different perks you can pick, like I can't think of a single one. But you get 3 extra inventory slots or 8 extra character upgrade units. The one I chose was the overhead swing of the wrench because I kept getting stuck under cameras and trying to bust them. And when you're directly under camera, can't see you, but I kept hitting the walls. And so I got this overhead swing, and I never saw it. I couldn't figure out what it was. I had to hold the mouse, and so he pulls the wrench back. Then he puts it over his head, and it does more damage as he brings it down, which was pretty cool. But they were cool, like, class perks. Like, they weren't a profession. They weren't a skill. They weren't something you built up. But at these 3 or 4 stations, you could get just a one-time, here's a free thing bonus.
Permanently.
Yeah, which was like, it was like when I knew I was going into combat, I'd hold the wrench up over my head because bringing it down on an overhead swing would one-hit almost anything, whereas otherwise you're just swinging it around like an asshole. You know, like a 20-year-old at a bar.
With a wrench.
Different bars. Jason, what was your least favorite?
So like I said, the skill tree or just like doing your classes in the first beginning, the Octane Hunger Force explosions, and then my least favorite was that I just like because of the interface and graphical mishaps, not necessarily mishaps. What's the word?
Limitations.
Underdevelopment.
Limitations is what I was saying.
Limited underdevelopment.
Under limitation development.
I agree with that.
For some reason, I have in my notes OSI, and I have no idea what that meant.
Oh, that's the Office of Secret Intelligence. It's who Brock Sampson works for. OSI!
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I mean, it's not that, though, is it?
Probably not. I would.
Sphinx!
Thanks!
I don't watch that show, and I'm so lost.
You should. Yeah, you. Shut up.
Wow, okay.
Do you have a least favorite, Daniel?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I thought that the ambiance, from what I saw, seemed cool. I liked the setting. I think that it was maybe one of the first like big cyberpunk games, and I really liked kind of playing through it and seeing the callbacks, or not really callbacks, but seeing where some of the influences of other games, specifically BioShock, kind of like alpha versions of the mechanics they used in that series. Least favorite was absolutely the UI. The UI made it pretty much literally unplayable. Kind of unplayable for me. I really disliked it, but that's probably just, looking through it from a today lens.
It'd be interesting to see that if, however you pronounce this, Deus Machina or Deuces X, that
Deus Ex Machina?
Yeah, the video game.
Yeah,
because I played Mankind. I think was the newer one. I think it was supposed to be a prequel to the older game, which I wonder if that came out around the same time as System Shock 2, because that is also a cyberpunk game that was highly.
I remember that in PC Gamer in the late 90s. Yeah, the ads for it,
and I really liked the newest one. Not the newest because there's a sequel to that one that's actually was really shit and got kind of microtransactioned out of whack. Ugh, God, I don't know what I'm trying to say.
Good comment there.
It got riddled with delays, and the story was kind of cut.
Yeah, it was when with that age in games when everyone couldn't decide if they were making a video game or making a really advanced cell phone game.
That and just piecemeal video games is the times that we live in right now.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much what happened to that. But like I said, it would be kind of interesting because that is another cyberpunk game.
Yep.
That came out.
So we can agree then that Cyberpunk 2077 is going to just be absolute shit, right?
It's good or not.
Breathtaking or spectacular, whatever.
Breathtaking.
Yeah, it's going to be breathtaking.
I'm interested to see. I don't know. I'm kind of when they came out and said that was going to be first person, I was kind of like meh.
I don't know, man. I'm super excited about it.
But just because I've seen what they did with Witcher 3, like Witcher 3, that's like,
Witcher. That's the
person.
game series you played the shit out of that I thought was Thief.
You thought it was Thief?
One word.
No, you know what? I will agree with him. I don't remember when, but there is an ad where the dude kind of looks like Geralt. I remember for Thief, for one of the Thief games.
Okay, yeah.
One of the main characters, they kind of look the same.
Who's Geralt?
Witcher.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the guy that. Yeah, I couldn't get into.
Of Rivia.
All right, my least favorite was definitely the interface. That it was very clunky. Like you were fighting it. You could bind all the keys, which is awesome. That's a classic computer game aspect. But when you're grappling over something, it was like you had to hold space for a second and a half, and nothing would happen. There was no animation, so you weren't sure if it was working or you were just waiting to get bashed in the head with a wrench. Mm-hmm. My favorite, by far, and this carried through into BioShock, and we haven't talked about it at all, is the little data pads you pick up. And it's, 27 data pads of Daniel Nolan going through the outbreak slowly, and you're not finding them in chronological order. You're finding them where they were at the time. So it's getting worse as you go, or sometimes it's getting better. The first 10 you find aren't bad, but you'll find one where it's like, oh, the fucking engineering systems are out again. I sent a crew and they never came back. I sent another crew and they didn't come back. So now I got to go do it. And then later down in engineering, you find that head of maintenance talking about the monsters she's found and what happened to her crew. And then you find another one in a corridor, and she's like, I'm locking myself in the control room. I've reset the keypad. I'm out of ammo, and you hear the shotgun. She's like, motherfucker, and she starts shooting a shotgun. Then you go in that room after finding the code for the room, and she's like, they're coming through. I'm going to take the maintenance shaft. I'm going to go to cargo bay 2. And you're finding bits and pieces of different people's lives as they fell apart on the ship. And I would love to see them all pulled together. This is something that the YouTuber was talking about. It'd be cool to see them all pulled together so you could get the contiguous story. And the voice acting, I think, in BioShock was better, where you did start to identify who these stories were, whereas in System Shock I'd never really felt that, but it was really cool watching the ship slowly degrade. Stop looking at me like that, you
remember
fucking
how we
weirdo.
said we were going to keep...
Got a timer right here. I got another 15 seconds if you don't mind not interrupting. Thank you. And I got another 9 seconds of my favorites. Goodbye.
So I did want to say something about the data pads, because I had forgotten about it. I like the data pads from BioShock, but they pissed me off in this one, because in BioShock, you just find it and it automatically plays, and you can keep on doing what you were doing in play, and the story goes in the background. In this one, you have to stop, open your UI, find the data pad, and play it, and it's just, I don't know, again, clunky. Yeah. And it's not seamless.
You could close the inventory and go about the game, and it would keep playing, but I didn't find that out for 4 hours.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and did you guys find the Game Boy?
Nope.
There's a Game Boy, and you can find Frogger. It's not called Frogger. You can find Swine Sweeper, which is you're trying to get rid of the pigs in a cornfield or something.
Are these little mini games you can
play? They're little mini games that you play on your data pad. And then there was one that was Roguelike is a game I've never played, but I've heard of. Mm-hmm. It was supposed to be like that, and I didn't know what anything was.
It's a type of game.
Yeah, but
now.
Oh, cool.
That's what they call kind of. You ever play Unepic or Castlevania, things like that?
Yeah,
they're called roguelikes.
Yeah, but it was old 2D top down, looked like Pokemon platformer, or not platformer. But yeah, there was a lot of cool stuff in this game, a lot of great stuff in the game, but there was a lot that just it was hard to get into because the interface was very rough.
Which didn't age very well.
Yeah.
The story did.
Yeah,
and
the story's still fantastic.
graphics and the UI didn't, unfortunately.
I did forget late in the playthrough when you find out that the AI who's guiding you is Shodan, the bad guy from the first one. She stops being nice and starts calling you meat sack and meat bag.
HK.
Yeah, huh?
HK-47.
Oh, is that? Yeah. It's just like, you did very well for a meat sack. I've inserted motivation units into you and have give you some more upgrade units or whatever they were called.
Just turns into Gladys.
Well, she's helping you?
Yeah, but she's the woman who's on the intercom. It turns out it's not that woman. The AI killed that woman and has been emulating her voice.
Right.
But then once she reveals she's not that woman, when you find that woman's corpse, she starts being exactly like Gladys, but with a lot more static on her voice. The minute you find out, she stops talking like this, and it's impossible to understand her.
Creepy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very genuinely creepy.
All right. Well, I think that's a wrap for this one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like most people. I feel like most people probably like this game.
Yeah.
So if you think we're wrong, please let us know. Be as hateful as you want. It's okay. We have thick
So
skin.
I think we also like this game. We're just the interface is clunky.
I mean, I didn't like it.
Oh, well, you're wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And everyone should tell me why.
Tell
So
me what.
next month, who wants to do the honors?
Who won the rock, paper, scissors?
I won the rock, paper, scissors.
Well, there
Then
you go.
I'll do the honors.
Nate?
Next month, we're reminding Nate what game we're playing, because I forgot.
We are playing
God,
Sid
Castlevania-
Meier's Pirates. Sid Meier's Pirates is what we're going to be playing. It's going to be $10 on Steam. That's the only service I looked it up on because we've realized that every single time that we go through and check all the services, they end up fucking putting it on sale the next day anyway. So I don't want to give you wrong prices, but I'm sure it's going to be comparable on any other service you can find it on. It's kind of a pirate sim. You go around the Caribbean and loot and pillage and hopefully not rape. But
They are pirates.
It's well, you are the pirate. You get to choose how you live your life.
You said pirate twice.
I like pirates.
I like pirates.
But go ahead and pick that one up. We'll be back on the last Friday of next month.
It is a...
I don't know what day it is. Nate,
we
quick.
don't have that primed. Well, it's not like I have a computer sitting on my lap.
Hurry up.
My
Ah!
mighty Dell dictates that it will be the 27th of March,
That-
2020.
Wow. We're in the future, guys. Sid Meier's Pirates. Play it. Join in next month. It'll be fun.
I presume it's so good, because I'm the only one that hasn't played it here. I've heard that it's so good that I will be shortly moving to Somalia, right?
Somalia. Okay, different pirates, but if they ever do like a Sid Meier's Pirates 2, possibly.
Oh.
I friggin' wish.
That'd be great. But in Somalia?
I was
Yeah.
trying to make the South Park joke, but we got real there.
Speaking of, Black Wake went full. We should play.
Yes, we should play. Wait, right now?
No, not now,
Oh.
obviously.
For the podcast?
Well, guys,
I'm going to say bye now. Bye.
Now!
I'm the captain now.
No, you're not. Harambe is rolling over in his grave, as everyone knows he was a very socially conservative gorilla